What time is it?
Well, it's almost 3:00, so you are listening to.
You didn't get your announcements ready, did you?
Oh, I was so into the music.
We've been sitting here for 20 minutes.
Oh man.
Next week is festival days.
Yes. So
Get out there and buy some stuff.
That's like a 3-day event.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So the market stuff happens Saturday from 8 till 1 p.m. And then at 2,
Are you
there's
gonna be
the
there?
Tribute. I will be there for sure.
2 is the what? 2 is the what?
2's the tribute band.
What?
So at the park there in town.
Oh.
I don't know what you guys call it. What's that park in the middle of town?
The Pepin Park?
Is that what it is? That's right across from
Oh,
Sports.
no, that's not that park.
That's where all bands are going to be.
That's the south, it's the city square, I think. Anyway,
I don't know. There's not really too much going on. I think that's the biggest thing. Trivia at Crawford Distillery on Thursday, September 14th. During festival days, there's a street dance. So that's happening by the Eagles.
48-hour softball tournament that we don't have a team for.
Yeah, I mean, I've been volunteering people for it.
But they just refuse to play.
Yeah, they look at me like I'm crazy. Like one of them was even like, "I don't play sport." I was like, "You don't have to. We just need your name on the roster."
We'll put you in right field. Trust me, nothing will happen there.
I mean, if you just stand there and scream and let them get a point, I don't care. I just want to play. It'd be nice to play a sport. Oh, there's apparently some PJs too.
Street dance. All kinds of stuff going on. Make yourself available.
Yeah, really, it's Friday, Saturday.
I wonder if they're
Sunday.
doing the mugs. Every year they sell a mug and you can just refill it throughout the weekend. I think you pay like $25. You can refill that beer mug.
I'm not sure how that works. I do know they have mugs
Yeah.
because we were at the chamber when I had to get my spot for the.
Yeah, you buy a mug and you can get it refilled.
And then they also have buttons.
Yep.
And then there's draws for winning stuff if you own a button.
Yep. So, and it was opening day of football today, opening Sunday. They had one football game this week. It was Thursday, but
Yeah.
But you know what that means? Hockey season is that much closer.
I know. That's what we're really waiting
It's like
for,
3 weeks away.
right?
I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go in your backyard yet?
No,
We need to figure out how to get ice in your backyard
all year round.
all year round.
Yeah, makes sense. I'd do it if I could.
Yeah, right. You got to get like some uber expensive
Well,
cooling
my
condensers.
original thought was, what would happen if you went and got a bunch of old fridges and put all of their stuff underneath the lawn?
All the condensers.
Yeah. And just ran it through, and you could use the thing that's on the back of the fridge. And then we could just have a rank. And people are like, "How's that possible?" I'm like, "Well, I pay like $1,000
Dollars in electrical bills. Generators. Now I'm paying a bunch of fuel.
Yeah, and then we're looking at gas, and gas is, you guys are getting close to Canadian prices now.
Almost.
It's weird.
Yo.
What was the point of moving down here? It was to get cheaper gas.
No, alcohol.
I don't really do that much anymore.
Yeah, but alcohol.
I mean, these college kids walking by are like, "Yeah, we know."
Get the cheap alcohol. Wait, I'm not 21 yet.
Yeah, that is a weird thing. Like, it's still hard for me to get through my head. And I'm talking to kids that are like 19 and they're not allowed to drink, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
But they are allowed to go to the military.
Yeah,
Makes
but you
sense.
can't drink while you're in the military.
Well, yeah, they do.
Well, they're not supposed to.
Talk to anyone who's been in the military. Their first story will be, "Well, we were really drunk one time."
Did you wait until you were 21 to have your first drink?
No.
So the same in
In
Canada,
fact, I drank more before I turned 21 than I did
right?
after.
It's because all of a sudden it becomes you're allowed to do it, so it's not as much.
I always did the fine fee though.
Oh yeah. Were you the friend that looked older, so you could go get it?
Yeah, eventually they stopped using me because I was expensive. That was my point though, because I didn't like doing it.
Yeah, no. And in Canada, like when I was 19. That it was like, oh, cool, yay.
Yeah,
But we were drinking before we hit 19.
But at 19, why 19? Why not 18?
Oh, sure.
18, you're considered an adult. You should be able to make adult decisions. And I'm not saying go out and drink because you should go out and drink. But if that's the age that the great minds on this planet have decided you're an adult.
Well, I mean, there's places in Europe that 8.
There's places in Europe where they don't care.
Yeah.
It's up to your parents' discretion. So,
No.
but nature deems people when do you become an adult? Is when you're able to reproduce. Does that make you an adult?
No.
Just saying, right? So they chose 18.
I don't know. I feel just
Through the number.
Yeah.
You can do all this stuff before 18 except drink alcohol.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's prolonging that option as long as possible.
I will say this: alcohol is far more unhealthy for you than the vast majority of things you could be doing to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It really wreaks havoc on your system.
Well, it is poison.
Yeah, but edibles are fun,
Well,
and you don't get the hangover.
that is a plus.
You might get fat, but at least you don't get a hangover.
These brownies, I've eaten 7 a day.
Yeah, not just the brownies. You just afterward, you're like, man, I'm still got the money.
Yeah, I mean, we know of somebody that likes to eat hot dog buns
Right.
with their marshmallow.
Oh, we're gonna get a text. Wow. Yep. Awesome. Say, hey, check it out. You want to know something kind of cool?
Always.
We get to see a comet if you're up early enough.
Is it Haley's Comet?
Not Halley's Comet, no.
Haley's.
Okay.
It's in the song.
Yeah, it's Halley's Comet. But anyway, this will be the first time you'll be able to see this comet in over 400 years.
Okay, what's it called?
Well, it's named after the Japanese astronomer who just recently discovered it in mid-August. So this is a new comet. We completely forgot about it. There's writings of it, people seeing it, but people apparently had forgot about it. It is the Nishimura comet. It will pass 78 million miles of Earth on September 12th.
I mean, I guess you said it was like every 400 years. Well, I mean, it would make sense that he saw it and he was like, hey, did you guys see the comet last night? And they were like, what comet? And now, 400 years later, it's no wonder everyone forgot about it.
Right. Well, no, they just rediscovered it this last August. So they had to go, it's weird. They go back and they're that's how we know Halley's Comet comes around every so often because it's like every 100 years, I think, that Halley's Comet comes around. So, yeah. But if you live in the northern hemisphere, you'll be able to see it. You just got to 90 minutes before dawn north, about 10 degrees above the horizon.
That's about before you wake up.
Hmm?
You will be able to see it.
Maybe.
Wait, what time zone, though?
Yeah, right. It doesn't really matter. It's just where the sunrise, the amount of light in the sky.
But the sunrise is different in every place.
You can't be past where the sun sets, Barry.
I mean, the Earth is flat.
And it is flat. So if you want to go see a cool comet, it's green, apparently.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. I guess the vapors that come off
Mm-hmm.
burning funky.
It is roughly a half mile in size, and not very big.
It's just weird how long they can just go around and so they have that trail because they're big.
The comet, but the sun is what makes them burn, and then they are half away and they refreeze, and then they probably around. Look north. Ask your wife for north is.
She knows now.
Does she?
I don't know. She might.
Yeah. No. So that's something I found sitting here staring at my phone. Just no.
Oh, so you weren't prepared today?
I'm never prepared. Let's be honest.
That's what happens when you turn 40, I guess.
I'm only as old as I feel, and I feel way older than 40.
Well, I think think your kids have something to do with that.
I wasn't gray until my kids were born. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I am getting messages.
All right, we're in so much trouble.
I'm okay. It was just ones that I hadn't read.
So check this out. Like, you've donated to Goodwill, right?
Yes.
This person found a human skull in a donation box.
Like a bleached one, or
Does that look bleached?
oh, interesting. No, it does not.
But it is historical and unrelated to any ongoing investigations. They called the police department. This was in Arizona. And there was a withered, dirty skull with a prosthetic eye still attached to its eye socket. They took it to the medical examiners, and it wasn't involved in any missing persons cases or anything like that. Apparently, this is kind of common. Especially over there, they do this for remember relatives and stuff. So they keep pieces of them, like Coco. You know, they kind of keep. There's actually places in the world that keep the skulls of their dead family members.
Well, have you ever seen those? Because this was in America. This too, where you had, if somebody was to die, they would take photographs with them. So you had them sitting in a chair, and the family would be around.
They're still family members, right?
Yeah.
It's my Uncle Leo.
Yeah, and that's the last photo you could get with them. And oh man, those are like, if you find those, some of them look so creepy.
Yeah, and crazy. Like, I don't want to work in a thrift store anymore because apparently this other woman, she found an urn with some person's ashes in it that she bought for $3.99 at a thrift store. Like, oh, like what it looked like.
I mean, she might use it for something else,
Right.
and then you'd think that you'd in it though.
Yeah, right before. Well, the person who took it in would probably look in it, but I guess not.
And nobody seemed to look in it.
I have no desire. Like, if any. My dad was cremated. My sister wanted to. Was actually like, I don't want a dead person with me all the time. It's just kind of creepy to me. Like, our dog was on the mantle and creepy enough.
Yeah.
But she's in a tin can, and I just forget it's there, so it doesn't find that much. But if I were to see a big urn going, no, not a fan.
All right. Note to self: in my will that you
To carry you around.
will be a giant urn, and then if you try to get rid of that urn, there's another urn inside that urn.
Yeah. What did my wife send me here? Ooh, she found. Oh, cool! A teen found a 34 million year old whale skull in her backyard. That's dope.
Why the heck can't we find it? I'm getting so mad at all these people finding cool stuff
First
in
of all-
their backyard.
First of all, we have got to leave our houses to do this.
Yeah, but why? Why can't we just
I'm sure.
Eric and Barry were golfing one day, and then we have to golf too.
We never
Yeah,
know.
'cause you don't do that anymore.
I scoop up I clean up my backyard after my dogs got all nasty, but I don't think I'll find anything there.
Nice to trip on something that's worth.
I don't know if she would get might get a bunch of money for this, or they might take it.
Well, they can't take it. They gotta.
But she found a small brain bone fragments while searching for shark teeth in her family's timber property in Alabama. As she dug digger,
It's like
Exactly.
40-year-old.
they discovered bigger bones and eventually uncovered a piece of lower jaw. When they found one of the creature's huge teeth, they realized it was the skull of a prehistoric whale, about 4 to 5 feet long. It's a big whale.
Mm-hmm.
If its head is as tall as I am.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. And I another story, like I keep stumbling on it all the time. Like, people over in Europe keep finding hoards. Like, I want to find a hoard, but our culture here didn't keep gold or silver or metal for that matter. They didn't find any value in it.
No, what was it? The big thing was corn.
Well, you could eat it.
Yeah,
And then later in life, we found out it has zero nutritional value.
Yeah,
But it's easy to grow.
It's easy to grow and it tastes all right.
Does nothing for you nutritionally.
You tell you eat corn, but what happens after?
Did I actually eat it? So, yeah. No. Cool. Whale skull. Found a whale skull. You don't have any rants, Barry. It's your turn to come up with a rant.
It's my turn to come up with a rant.
Yeah, nothing's come up lately that's bothered you?
To
To the point you need to rant about it?
Well, here we can kind of, because this is the thing I talk a lot with my wife.
You just talk a lot.
Well, because of her field of study and me going through the master's program. What do you think of AI being able to write everything for you?
I would have loved that in school. Then I wouldn't have guessed my way through high school.
Right? But I mean,
The problem with it is, though, that
do you learn?
I don't need to do anything. It does it for me, right?
So there's like this big thing going on right now where they're talking about AI and it's writing, how it can write everything for you. You can try to find it, but there was a guy that went through Harvard for 1 year, his first year of Harvard, only used AI to write everything, and he passed with an A.
Nice.
Right, but
I thought it was cool the first time I saw Talk and Speak on a computer on Word, where I didn't have to type, I could just talk, and it would start typing it out for me. I'm like, do you know how many 5-page papers I had to write in school? I could have just.
But here is, I think it's good for. So, like, I've been using it when I'm writing my stuff. What I do is I put in like a theory that my book is explaining to me, and the thinks that I'm a genius.
All books think that way.
Right? So I put in the title of the theory, and then I say, tell it to me like I'm dumb.
Yep.
And
I do that. I literally have to have people tell me that when I have to tell people when they're talking to me, I'm like, I feel like I'm 6. I honestly don't know what you're talking
about. But I use it that way, but there's a lot of people that are using it too. Just pass. And what happens if, like, my wife did it too?
And they got so mad at us back in the day for plagiarizing books.
Yeah. Well, now is it plagiarizing if it's not somebody's work?
No, you're not stealing. Plagiarism is literally stealing somebody else's work.
Yeah.
But your work is someone else's. It's not someone else's. It's AI's. It's something that's just come up randomly.
Yeah.
So how? That's my question is, like, how does it generate the paper? You just give it 2 ideas and it goes from there.
Well, I mean, while we're talking, I can pull it up.
Well, I'm just curious on how it works. Like, oh, I need to do a paper on World War II assault weapons in Germany. Do I just need to type that in there and it'll write a paper for me?
Yep. It will.
That should be not legal. Like, that was the one paper I wrote in high school that I actually sat and did research for and wrote. Like, I did a paper on, basically it was like Germany should have smoked everybody, but unfortunately Germany got stupid and basically attacked everybody.
So
they had too many enemies. They couldn't he couldn't help himself.
Right?
You're actually in it.
Yeah.
You're telling it to write me a paper on World War II, and like it'll do it, right? A German weapon, like it's just.
Focus on German weaponry.
See, like,
and I spelled everything wrong.
Well, I've seen your spelling.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And is that a free program?
Mm-hmm. You can pay for their more updated one that gets everything.
But that's dumb. Like, it took me a week, right? And it's going to literally have this done in 15 seconds.
Yeah, and it's giving you, so it even gives you titles so that you understand what each paragraph is talking about.
Yeah.
And then you can go through and add what you want. But, I mean, it took me a paper.
It's not fair. Like, the fact that my kid can have a tablet in school now drives me nuts. All I got was a Texas Instruments single function calculator.
Oh yeah, and like it's a big thing to debate too, because so Grammarlink is a website that corrects your grammar, and it's pretty good at it. It helps you make it so that your stuff looks better. It comes up in Checkers for AI, as it's an AI software that wrote your paper, because they have Checkers for this. But the problem is the checkers aren't always good.
Well, I mean, like, I don't like. I understand that there might be a need for it, but it's just like not.
Well, to me, so like one of the good things it does is it makes it so that if you're like, oh my goodness, that like you're in a busy job, you can literally tell it, hey, can you write a memo to my employees about this?
Right.
And it'll do a quick little memo. You can copy paste it. It's on the way. If you're struggling with something like for me, when I get something explained differently, and you don't have access to a teacher that can just instantly answer.
Yeah, but you're not learning any of the information that thing.
But that's if you do it this way.
You didn't have to memorize. You didn't have to read anything. You didn't. You don't even know what that paper says.
Nope. And
you could turn that in, and no one would know the difference.
Well, you can turn in, and they do have, because I know, like here at the university, they have an AI detection software. But if they use it at 100%, how do they prove that you actually did it?
Yeah.
Unless you tell them you did.
Yeah. Like they could never confirm or deny that they actually use AI.
Like I feel like everything's going to change in education, where they go, okay, yep, we're going to be writing an essay today, and that's what you're doing in class. And then you'll write a bit in class, and then when you're done, you leave.
When I was in school, that was a class. It was called creative writing, and you had to write. Like there was no typing, no nothing. Like you had to write. Like we're getting into a. I don't know how much long. Like yeah, see, highly likely to be AI generated.
And then it shows you what it thinks is AI generated, anything in red, and then you just go through and you can reword it a little bit, and it'll trick the software.
Yeah, it's because they made a so we created that. It's like, oh, we need to create something here to help fix the fact that it looks AI generated.
But then you can even trick them by going rewrite as a human, and it'll rewrite it and try to make it sound more human rather than robotic.
Like all I used to do was copy paste wiki.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I try to always think, and like there's this one guy that's going through Harvard just doing it.
What we're doing is we're eliminating our creative thinking skills.
Yep. Cognitive thoughts.
Like we're not going to be able to problem solve. In fact, it's pretty noticeable. You can see a lot of people who just can't solve on their own. Can't do it.
Well, and the thing too is like you do stuff like this. What if you had a kid that used this all the way, because now it's a little bit more open, and you can't tell me the high schools don't know about it. They use it, and then they go and they're like, you know what? I really want to teach.
They have their phones in school.
Yeah, like they want to teach. They get their master's, they get their PhD doing this, and then they're in front of a classroom.
Your wife, professor, how many kids are sitting on their phone in class?
Oh, stupid.
Like, why are they even allowed in the room?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that, there's the rule. You cannot have your phone out in this room. If you take your phone out, you will fail my class.
Yeah, well, you get into that thing where a lot of like professors, they're like, I'm not here to be your parent.
No, but still, like if you're going to be here, you're going to listen to me. If you just not show up.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, this class is graded on attendance. Yeah, but if you're sitting there on your phone, are you really here? Like you're here physically, but are you actually like? Because I can sit in the same room with my kids and ignore them.
Oh yeah,
I'm not in that room.
Yeah, that's how we lessen the
right.
race.
So this there physically isn't the same as being there, you know. My brain hurts.
I know. I just want to let you through this.
Don't. I can't.
It's very entertaining
like,
watching
right?
this
You're just
struggle.
not there, you know, engaging with the conversation. You're just like, TikTok today.
Yep.
Right, even though TikTok's banned, unless you shut off the Wi-Fi and just use your, right, use your data.
I don't like the mindfulness stuff. Because well, one thing that I used to have, it was an argument that I had with my parents when I was young, because I was, I'm a gamer. It's no lie. No, I'm not hiding. But they used to always tell me, they're like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you do something else? And I'd be like what? Like watch TV?
Yeah.
At least when I'm playing a game, my brain is working more than when I'm
Well,
watching
they have found playing video games does help because it helps problems.
anything.
Yeah, your ability is going up, but your physical is tanking.
Yeah.
So
Think about it. We were in Baldur's Gate 3 today.
Well, that game, believe it or not, requires some thought. You have to stop and think about it tactically.
My favorite thing has been hearing you go, you killed all these guys when you played? Like, I just love the mindset where you're like, is this possible?
4,000 dudes in that room, and I'm like, there's 4 of me. I'm gonna, yeah. So, like, yeah, I mean, you have to think tactically, though.
Yeah.
And I even admit it. I'm used to games where I don't have to do that. I just run in the room and just start swinging, and everything dies. There's no tactical need there. But
What was it, Force Unleashed 2?
yeah, pretty much. The 4 game that was Force Unleashed 2, but you could just destroy everyone around you, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
So my wife said this funny story. The Coast Guard arrested a man trying to run a giant hamster wheel across the Atlantic.
Why?
I haven't read the story yet, and so I'm kind of interested on.
Well, I mean, he probably would die without having some type of support with him.
Yeah, that's on their end. That's not our end. We're yeah. It says we're doing great. Yeah. Why? I haven't read the story to find out why he was arrested. Like what could he possibly have done?
Well, I heard that it is against the law to ride a hamster wheel across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Because of the debris from your feces that would eventually fall in. I don't know. I mean, if somebody wants to be dumb, let them be dumb.
So he was arrested because he couldn't find the registration for the vehicle.
A hamster wheel that he's running in.
Yeah, it's made out of buoys and wire, and it's self-prepared. They're self-propelled, not prepared.
So he's not actually running in it.
Yeah, so he needs. No, it's by him. It's self-propelled by him running inside it.
Oh, then yeah. What the frick? Why would you need registration for that?
So the Coast Guard. This was a week or two ago when they were getting ready for the hurricane, and the Coast Guard was trying to get prepared for the hurricane, and somebody called in the complaint.
Somebody complained about a guy running in a hamster wheel.
Yeah, they were ending his voyage because it was unsafe. He replied that he had a 12-inch knife and would attempt to kill himself if the officers attempted to remove him from his vessel. Okay, I shouldn't laugh at that, but I mean, come on. He's so dedicated to running across the Atlantic in a hamster wheel that he would kill himself if they tried to take him off of it?
This thing looks pretty epic.
Right? Like, they couldn't get him out. Like, he's...
Well, like, look at the dang thing. I don't know what would happen, though, if, like, he's got buoy stuff, but some of these look like they're filled with air.
So he threatened to injure himself if they tried to board his vessel. He also threatened to blow himself up along with his vessel. The officer saw him holding wires in his hands and believed him. So...
And made the bad dash to escape.
Yeah, like, I don't... He was being held for $250,000 bond. All he wanted to do was run, man.
It would be really interesting though. They're just like, fine, whatever, go.
Like, I get it.
Run.
It's
then that hurricane comes, and then they find him in the city.
It's unsafe, but like, go into any backyard in the South or in some dude's thing and find one person doing a sketchy thing in the backyard.
Yeah, but I mean, they've let people swim across the Atlantic.
But they had medical staff and all that stuff following.
But I mean, they allow it. So what are they
But I think they get permits and everything for that. But I don't know. But still, that's a pretty cool looking device. I mean,
yeah.
My question is what does he do when he gets hungry? Like, if you stop, I mean, you're just going to start rolling uncontrollably.
Well, I mean, how long?
How far is it?
Yeah, like how long?
It'd take to run across that depends on the part you ran across.
Well, and the other thing too is he would be slowed by however the waves are pushing
The current, which way the current's going. Yeah, so cool. I'm just curious as to like, poor guy. He gets it all though. I agree with that. He should have been let to do it, but I don't agree with his being mad. Like, I'm gonna kill myself or hurt myself.
That's a little bit.
Dude, just just cool your jets, man. Just
So it's like, I guess the easiest place would be 3,000 miles.
yeah. That's up in the northern part where it's cold, but yeah.
Wow, battling 20-foot waves. That thing would be thrown around.
Mm-hmm. Like if you stop to eat a sandwich, like where does he must have his strapped in there so it doesn't washing
I'm
machine.
guessing he's got it so that he runs and then it does something, but it doesn't spin
The whole
inside.
cage?
Yeah.
Maybe. Otherwise, you got a washing machine, right?
Yeah.
Everything in there is just
Well, and if he started hitting like crazy waves, he would be like, what?
right.
Well, because the thing is, people don't realize that when you get further out, waves are bigger.
Oh yeah. So yeah. I just kept somebody complained about it. I'm like,
Yeah, I
"Yes."
just think it's.
Here's one thing that, and this is a bit of a rant. People just need to mind their own business. The world would be a better place if people just mind their own business.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying ignore criminal activity. What I'm saying is stop being a window watcher.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a difference between watching and thinking you're going to be.
They call the cops and like, this person can't park here. Well, yes, they can.
Well, I mean, my favorite thing that's happening around here, and I follow it daily, is the argument of when somebody asks a question and they post anonymously, how much people attack them. And all I keep thinking
You know why people post anonymously?
because
That's why.
Yeah, if you posted your name, then you would harass them.
Yeah.
With
Right? So, yeah.
they're like, I need to know your name so I can find you and tell you.
I have nothing better to do with my day than to try and find people on Facebook to annoy.
Well, and the weirdest thing for me is I don't even notice that they post anonymously until someone
Says
freaks out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess they did, because I don't care who the person is. If I can answer the question, I'm going to answer the question. It's so weird what people do these days. They're so bored.
Yeah, like I said, unless they're hurting you or somebody else, leave them alone.
But I mean, too, is it if, I'm kind of new to the area, and I feel like if I went on there and I was like, where are the bear paws? Then if I posted my name, it would be like, you'd get some people that are like, oh yeah, it's just follow.
But you get that one person.
Oh yeah, and then it would start.
What are you, stupid? No, I'm not
Look at the
stupid.
map. Use Google.
I'm not stupid. I'm just asking a question. Where are the bear paws?
Yeah.
I don't know where they're at.
Because the main way that people learn is they ask questions.
Right. We're losing that.
GPT. It answers the
Yeah. And the big thing when we're teaching and you're getting it, I'm not going to do what I told you to do.
Oh yeah, I hate it when you're coaching. Like, it happens a lot with kids.
At any
You
age.
explain something, and then you're like, does everybody understand? And then they're like, yep.
Yep.
And then you're like, all right, let's go do the drill.
And they stand there.
And let's come back and learn
Right.
the drill here.
Let's try this one more time. A lot of times you can get it because you look at them and they're looking at it, but they're not looking at you. They got this really blank stare like, oh, he's going to make us do it.
Yeah.
But I thought he knew what he was doing. So I was going to do what he's going to do. But in turn, that kid thought that kid knew what he was going to do. Yeah, it's a mess.
I think it's always, I think it's that fear of
Looking dumb
Yeah.
or failing. I was listening to a podcast of, it's a podcast dedicated to parents who have kids in hockey.
Mhm.
And one of the guys is a coach. One of the guys is one of them is a parent. That's all she does. She's a parent. And I can't remember what the other guy does. But anyway, the coach is like, I have one rule. Everybody has to fall. And the guy's like, well, why is that rule? Because you're going to. Get it out of the way. You learn when you fall. You learn to get back up. Everybody is so, and you and I see this a lot with adults because it hurts to fall, especially at my age. I'm going to before you do.
I was gonna be nice to
Shut up, you were too. But that's the thing. When you and I see a new player or a new skater, an adult come out and they are just terrified of falling. Well, why did we put you in all that stuff?
Yeah, you know what?
And it's still you do hurt the
That's why
next
he
day,
put all that stuff in.
right?
So
The dude who's going to run across the Atlantic, it hurts. So, but if you don't fall, this is why people don't learn certain skills because they don't trust themselves to attempt the skill. Like you and I were pretty hesitant, not maybe to get this reference about teaching outside edge use in hockey. because every skate has two edges. It's easier to use your inside edge than it is your outside. It's far more natural. You use your outside edges, I guarantee you're probably going to bite it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. That's why I like it when we're there and we show them a drill for the first time, and I'm like, this is what it should look like. But this is what we're expecting.
Now, Derek, you do it, and this is what it's going to look like. It looks horrible.
I like what we're doing, though. I put my hand in.
People are so afraid of looking awkward or strange or just stupid that they don't watch a kid. Watch him fail at putting a puzzle together 500 times before he puts it together right the one time.
Yeah.
You have to fail in order to succeed.
When we're older, we're set in our ways.
Well, and I see it in the football game the other night. It was pretty fun. And I got these two people sitting behind me going, why didn't I catch the ball? Well, it's easy to say when you're standing up here.
I hate like
you should have caught the ball.
Like when people are into a sport and they get excited about it. But, I took sports psychology. The worst advice you can give somebody would be imagine me as a coach in football and I'm coaching the receivers and I'm like, just catch it.
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh, really? I didn't know what I needed to do.
That's what I'm a receiver. That's what I'm supposed to catch it, right? Like, yeah, okay. So you can say that at your television when the professionals are playing.
Yeah.
That's what they're paid to do. Yeah, you got to catch the ball. That's what you're paid $50 million a year or $50 million a year over your career.
Yelling that like a high school kid.
But you're talking to a 15-year-old kid. He's a freshman in high school. It's his first game. He makes a drop. Oh well. You know what? I bet you he learned more from that drop than he did from catching the pass after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's why it's hard when you're an adult, especially new to like hockey or any sport. I don't know what it's like. I've played so many sports that I want to play cricket because it's the one sport I've ever played.
It's a really weird mutant form of baseball is all I could tell.
But I want that feeling because I don't get that much because I played so many sports as a kid.
Yeah.
That I don't know what it's like to.
But here's the thing, and I'm pretty sure that the people that are saying this had played sports at some point in their life. They've been there.
Yeah.
But they forgot it. So this is what tells me that they were never a coach. Because a coach will go, yeah, he didn't catch it. I know why he didn't catch it. The kid knows why he didn't catch it. Why do I have to say anything?
Yeah.
Right? So and another thing in that, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it's really good. Another thing the guy does, he's like, you know what? Instead of focusing on what that play is in any sport, he made a bad play. What did he do? Good play. Don't focus on the bad. The kid already feels like crap. You can see him, right? You've coached enough kids to know he made a bad play, made a bad pass, or whatever. But what did he do that was good? Focus on that and go, good. Let's work on that. Do that again. You were great up till right here. So you didn't fail, per se. You just you botched the end of it.
Yeah.
You get another shot. And it's the same thing like watching a quarterback throw an interception. What did the guy see? Honestly, standing back there, a lot. You got 20 dudes in front of you running around like bees, not counting referees and umpires that are running around the field too. And you expect everything to go perfectly. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, it's rough.
But
I'm big into hockey and like watching the Maple Leafs play, but I understand when I'm like but everybody's gonna have ups and downs.
I do it all the time, especially in pro hockey. I watch as a goalie, and the more I watch hockey, like especially in pros, the goalies drop all the time for shots. Why? You're 6. You don't need to. A lot of the time
because they're so tall that they can drop and cover more.
But they score over their shoulder. Though. I mean, if he's on his feet, it hits him in the chest.
If he's not, then it goes 5.
But you can criticize pros all you want. They're paid to play. They're professional athletes. Honestly, you don't have any. You don't have any skin in the game either there. So.
Well, I think about when I was in high school and I was playing, and he always had criticism, And it wouldn't be until I said, well, did I do anything good, that he would be like, oh yeah.
That's the biggest problem. People focus too much on criticizing what somebody did wrong instead of focusing on what they did right. Like I was saying, like, why focus on the kid already knows. You screwed up enough in your lifetime. You knew when you made a bad play.
Yeah.
You knew it. You're like, oh God, I blew that big time.
But we need the crowd to tell us.
Right. And the refs and your coach and
then the ride home, we need to hear it too.
Right.
Because that'll ingrain.
And sometimes the best thing to say to your kid if he has a bad play at the end of a game or loses a game, nothing at all. You don't need to tell him he screwed up. He already knows.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or just going, you know what? Get it next time. Like you made a mistake, but you're gonna learn from that mistake next time.
I made parents. I threatened to kick them out of the rink if I heard them criticizing their kids. That's my job as a coach, because I
and then as a coach, you're criticizing, you're teaching.
But we say it in a way where it's like not like be like, if you miss the catch, not like, hey, why don't you catch it? You say, hey, next time, position your body a little bit different, try to get it and bring it into the chest. Right? That's what a coach does. But what as parents, they always end up doing the just catch it.
Right. Just catch it because it's so easy. You're doing 20 miles an hour on razor blades, 9 other guys swarming in and out of you all the time. Yeah, just catch it.
Yeah.
I did see one coach, and he's like, I like to do every now and again. I throw in a drill I know they can't do, but I make them try it over and over and over. They don't fail at the same thing every time. They'll get one part of the drill just fine, and then they'll move into the next one. It's just a really hard thing but it's like, I'm going to teach you that you can fail.
Yeah.
My intent isn't for you to do it perfectly every time, because then you ain't learning anything.
I mean, if I won every hockey game I played, I don't think it would be as exciting when you win.
No. Like if you went 1-10 in your season in hockey, the 10 losses mean nothing. But the 1.
Yeah.
But you learn it, you're like, oh, that was so awesome.
And I remember when I was coaching in high school here, and they had never beaten, I think it was Missouri, and they beat them. And that was all they talked about the whole year. Go into another game, be like, what we can do is that we beat Missouri. And I was like, yeah, I can't remember specific losses.
Right.
I just remember specific games, and I'm like, I think we won that game.
Like, so you played hockey for legit or hockey for 20, 25 years, something like that?
Well, like actually playing other teams.
Right,
yeah, probably not.
Yeah, right. You remember every win?
I don't remember any win or any loss. I just remember the fun.
You remember the big moments
within
one of those. I remember the time we won this one game. I don't remember when or where, but I remember this pass came, and I
remember hitting it over the boards, and then a ref, and he was smaller than me.
But you don't remember how old you were. You might be close. You're like, oh, we're probably 10.
I was around Bantam, I think.
Yeah, 10, 15, somewhere in there. I don't know.
But you want to remember most? It wasn't because I hit him on the boards. It was the ref came up to me, blowing the whistle right away, and he looked at me, and he's like, I don't know, roughing?
Well, it was legal. It was clean, right?
No, I picked him up and threw him.
Oh.
Like I did you could go in and you see like in the NHL it looks like a cross check, but I did it with my stick in one hand, and I picked him up because he was so small and then threw him.
What did he do to you?
He was a right winger, and I threatened. Well,
intimidation.
Yeah. And I would, do you know how many times stuff like that? And then I go into the corner, and their whole team would sit there and wait for me to do something because they knew better than to go into my corner.
Yeah. No. I'm interested to see in my lifetime how it will happen if they actually remove checking from hockey.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be like removing it from football.
Well, they removed it from football. Like it's really tough to tackle a quarterback anymore without a penalty thrown on you because they're the highest paid player on the field, and people show up to watch that guy.
Yeah.
If he's not there, people aren't going to play or come and watch him.
Well, I find it weird that like I've watched rugby, I've played rugby. I've never played contact football, but I've played like football and two-hand touch, which is always dumb because then I'm like, no, one hand touch me, not two. But you take hit hockey, and it just becomes more skilled.
I'm not saying taking hitting out of hockey. I'm taking shooting out of hockey. Well, because they're not tackling each other.
Well, it's because they have you have to tackle at the waist.
Right.
You're not allowed anywhere else. Now, you can grab somebody to pull them into a hug and tackle.
So in the NFL, you're allowed to hit below the knees.
Oh, yeah, man.
Right? You see legs fold the wrong way all the time. But the biggest issue with like a contact sport like football is you've got 20 guys on the field, and some of those guys are huge. They're falling, and they don't know where they're falling. So if you got a leg underneath somebody and they fall on you and you fall the wrong way, you're twisting and tearing knees. And the biggest thing they're teaching now is, and they're doing it in hockey too, because concussions, as much as people want to ignore it, concussions are huge in hockey too. You cannot be doing 30 miles an hour on a set of skates. No matter if you get hit in the chest or the back, it's going to jar your head. So concussions are huge. So they're trying to teach people to keep their head up. So they see where they're like, it's like chasing my 5-year-old. He spends more time looking backwards at me than he does at where he's going.
Oh, yeah, they run into stuff.
Oh, yeah. And in sports, it's the same way because they're so concerned about what else is going on around them. They forget to look where they're going. And that other dude doing 25 miles an hour on skates coming right at him, he doesn't even see him. It's clean. It's a clean check, but his skates are at the other end of the ice, and he's on the other side because he wasn't watching. So they're teaching to keep your head up and look.
Well, and the other thing now, the onus is on the hitter.
Yeah.
So, like, I do it all the time. There's lots of times. And I did it when I was younger, I think, too, because I never really wanted to
Hurt
injure
anybody.
somebody. And, like, even when I threw that kid over the boards, I did it because I assumed he would be fine.
Yeah.
But, when you're a kid, you don't think too much about what could happen. But I still, like, now I've had moments in hockey that we're playing, and I know we're going to run into each other. I instantly go, how can I?
You just pull up.
Yeah.
Right.
But I see some football hits where I'm like, that guy didn't pull up.
No, we showed you one yesterday,
Yeah.
Remember? That is actually a penalty. It's a hit on a defenseless receiver, which means that the receiver hasn't had a chance to catch the ball and react to it, to look around to see what's coming at him because he's concentrating on catching the ball.
Same thing happened in hockey where, somebody gets a pass and they're looking. That guy knows he doesn't see him coming, and they smoke each other. And how many people have been put out of a sport
Because of that.
and the guy that hits is still playing.
He's fine. The thing that gets me, though, and here's the opposite of that. So that guy that lays the hit, well, if he lets up and doesn't hit the guy hard enough, and I've seen this, doesn't hit him hard enough where he pulls up to where he doesn't hit at all, the other guy scores. His career could end because of one bad play on his part. You go to the bench because you didn't make that tackle or because you didn't commit to the hit. Right? And I don't think I've ever did it in hockey because those guys show let up, right? He's coming over the middle, he's not looking, that's not my bad. Because it's not a penalty. Yeah. In football, it is a penalty to just cold clock somebody if they're not watching. And the fact they make it an illegal act, you cannot, it's a really weird rule, but you can't hit somebody from the back or the side if they're running back toward the line of scrimmage. It's a very interesting rule because
You've said some words in that sentence that I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Right. But it just doing this for safety reasons, the person is unaware and can't defend himself from the hit.
Yeah.
Which is why I think rugby in the scrum is different because everybody's prepared to be hit. They know they're getting hit.
Well, they start, so like in football, you guys don't start touching each other.
No.
In rugby, you actually start shoulder to shoulder with the team that you're playing against,
Mhm.
and then the ref says okay, and then you start pushing each other.
I would like to see the stats in Canadian football because it's different. So in Canadian football, the linemen are 1 yard apart at the snap of the ball. To where in American football, you don't have to be lined up just past the line of scrimmage. You just cannot be crossed. So you're less than a few inches from each other compared to 1 yard apart. So does that give the opportunity to be ready for contact? Where, I'm just curious.
Question has been asked.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure there's still a lot of the biggest injuries in football I see are probably the joint injuries where you're bending in directions you're not supposed to because pull up on you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Surgery, and I'm sitting there looking at my slot play. And it's my fear that and you can't go into a game going, I'm going to get hurt playing this because you can get hurt playing any game.
But there are different sports that you're more likely to get
It's
hurt.
true, but even in hockey, I mean, there are injuries that happen all the time. Whether it's a non-contact injury or a contact injury, there's all sport, and you're like, I just don't know. Like hockey, I'm a little more safe with.
Well, hockey is turned into you're not allowed to hit until
Bantams, which they're thinking of moving to high school. In Canada, it's already high school.
Yeah.
Like there is no contact under high school, but in girls hockey, there is no contact period except for body contact.
Yeah.
No checking. I just if my son comes up to me and goes, Dad, I want to play football, I'm like, you can play football. But it's not in my mind going, I don't know if I like it.
Yeah,
Right.
and that makes sense. I mean, you don't want to stop them from doing anything, but
I will never force my kid to do something he doesn't want to unless they've committed to it. Like my daughter committed to playing softball one year. She played a couple of games. She's like, I just don't like it. I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to play next year. But you made a commitment to your team that you're going to show up and you're going to play so you can finish this season and then you're done. I will never go, you know what, maybe you should try it again because you just it was last year, you just didn't like it. She just didn't like it.
Well, I did 1 year of having my kids scream on the ice, and I had to make the hard decision of being like, nope.
Your kid just doesn't like hockey.
She likes hockey. She just doesn't like when people take the puck away from her.
Well, that's a little kid thing, and they get over that.
Yeah, but it was a big deal for her. You don't like it.
Yeah. Like all kids are that way. They like Kingston's huge on it. Like he's got the puck and you take it from him and he just like meltdown.
Well, mine is gonna like win some esport team thing somewhere.
I'm gonna play virtual hockey.
Yeah, she's gonna win championships and make more money.
So that's what they do there, right? They put AI players in based on your cognitive level and skill level, and you make then that eliminates injuries altogether. But in that case, couldn't everybody be a football player or a hockey player?
Maybe.
Well, I don't think so because there are different like people about sport, right?
Mhm.
Like you've played with guys that were just always in the right spot, knew where to be. That's I right. That's not doing anything. He didn't special. He didn't do anything
So it
special.
doesn't look.
Reading what's going. You can't skate as much,
So I find ways to not skate as hard.
right? So you're just like, you know what? End up over here. Mosey over. There we go. Are you really trying to AI?
I just want to see what an AI would do for if they can predict who was going to win the Stanley Cup.
So I don't know the answer to this question. Has there ever been a repeat cup winner in hockey?
Yep.
Happen-
Tampa Bay did.
Does it happen often?
No, not that often.
Did Edmonton do it with Gretzky?
I think so. Yeah.
So if that, and I think maybe Detroit did it back in the 90s. Did they double up or did they just do the same?
Don't know.
Repeating.
Well, the Montreal Canadiens way back in the day won 5 in a row.
Holy cow! That makes sense.
But that's from like 1956 to 60.
I mean, that's one of the hardest things in a sport. Champion.
Well, and like I still get very confused with football with how little games they play compared to like what.
Can you imagine though? Like look at I'm just watching today. There were star players, and it's week 1. They're done for the season. They're done for These aren't injuries that take you out for a week or two. These are injuries that could possibly, like a guy ruptured his Achilles today.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I mean. That's when, like, if you compare the injuries in the NFL, the injuries in the NHL, with the amount of games that are played, there's less in the NHL.
A lot of the injuries, and this is just, and I'm not saying that I'm just saying that the NHL has lots of injuries, but most of them are because of contact, because of checking body contact. It's a guy skating across the middle, thinking he's looking back for the guy who's passing to him. He forgets the defenseman, who's 230 pounds, just coming in like a missile. And, well, just needless to say, that guy doesn't get the pass.
I mean, bonus, apparently basketball is the most dangerous sport to play.
Those guys are panties.
Yeah, but that's what it says. It says that there's more injuries in basketball than any other sport.
Well,
I would have thought soccer, but those are usually fake.
Well, I think with basketball, it has to do with muscle tightness.
Anything that involves running and quick movements.
Well, you're
He's gonna blow knees.
yeah, your muscles getting tired, so they lose their strength and rigidity. So when you go to do something explosive and your leg is already tired,
In schools, it is football, soccer, basketball, but this one probably doesn't have hockey.
and that's hockey's not a good one. But I mean, look at it. It said, look, did you see what injury it was?
No, I did not.
ACL in the knee.
That's why hockey's great. You don't have the same pressure on your knees.
You don't see ACL in like a lot of it is what's real with hockey, and I don't know why they do it. They're like, it's a lower body injury. They don't tell you. Like they're like, what? It's a leak. Why does it matter?
Well, they say that because there would probably it's usually a pull, like a muscle.
or
strain.
upper. Well, they don't say anything. They're like upper body or lower body.
Well, the other thing too with that is because it'll be the same thing if in football, if somebody, and I'm sure there's players that do it, where like, oh yeah, he's covering from.
Below the other guy's got a pretty banged up leg. Yeah, they're gonna throw a little bit more.
Yeah, so in hockey, that's why they say upper body because they don't want you to know where it is.
Well, here, the 6 ounce biscuit in the chest.
Yeah,
It stops your heart. Right?
yeah, you better be careful this year
Why?
because I'm just aiming for you.
You aim for me all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna start jumping out of the way.
You're gonna have to Goldberg. You have to tie me in the net.
Yep.
With scarves and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then just pelt you because that's safe.
Right.
You can't react to anything. You're just stuck there.
So I was watching a cool interview. You know Tuukka Rask, right?
Yep.
He never pads. Like in his NHL, he liked his old. There were more stand-ups, and that's kind of like equipment. You need it, dude. Protector was like 15 years old. He's like, I like it because he liked the way they felt,
Yeah.
and they weren't like full-on modern pads. He's like, I don't. So he just wore the same pads for almost his entire career.
That's what I feel like. Like I still have never found.
I'm just saying, like, you're gonna give me free gear every year, right? I'll just store this stuff in my garage.
the new stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just sell it on it.
right.
Put your signature on it.
There you go, right? Like Kayla's pads, those are pro returns. It
Yeah.
says who they belong to right on them. It wasn't a pro player, but he was a college player. And some college get their pad through their college.
Yep. Not here.
Nah, here. We got to get a college team for that first.
Oh man.
We were a little bit of sport talk there.
Yeah, we got to do it.
But we're getting excited. It's almost here. It's getting cold. You can feel it.
Yeah, that's the AC in the room.
As you're boiling out in the middle there.
Yeah.
Because they got the doors open.
Oh, yeah, because the AC is down for the university.
Couldn't put any money into that, huh?
Nope. But I don't know. We'll probably be back here next week.
Maybe.
I don't think we have anything going on. But yeah, you've been listening to Average Rants here at KNMC
90.1.
FM. Oh, God.